Welcome into the Odds Checker betting preview for this week's Open Championship. I'm Rick Gehman, that right there, Geoff Fienberg. Jeff, our final major championship for 9 months. Soak it in, bud.
Final major of the year. Yeah, geez, that feels weird. I'm not in that mindset where I'm allowing that because that can kind of get sad and it's a real dog days situation, I guess, coming up after the fact, Rick. Last major in a while, 150th Open Championship. So while we're here to, scope out that betting board for golf nerds, this is, as big of a tournament as I think we've had. You can make the case, at least since, we've been making golf content, certainly. I don't think that's hyperbole. Certain events can make an event great despite it doesn't need this backstory, but 150th Open Championship. Let's hope we can find a winner.
Before we talk about the betting board, before we talk about the golf course, St. Andrews, this is always a tough week for me, right? Because things conflict each other, right? You've got a situation where you want to be quick to bet the betting board, right? When we get that like Monday morning reset, you want to act fast. However, an Open Championship, a link style golf course that can be just highly dependent on weather, you want to wait as long as possible. So how do we balance those two things this week?
There's also the fact, Rick, me and you run your own channel. We're both here part of Odds Checker. With this video, they want me to supply some picks. So the whole I want to wait till Wednesday when you're in the content game, it doesn't really fly. I don't want to say contractually obligated. I could put our good friend, poke him off for a couple days. But yeah, it's difficult. For example, even the futures aspect of this, I just thrown it out there, pat myself on the back, have a Will Zalator 70-1, but I have no other futures. It's a hard event to really bet futures. You have to have hyper confidence that number is going to hold strong. There's the wild card element to the Open Championship, the weather element. Absolutely. This is one where if I'm not if not in a content space, I'm probably not making a bet till Tuesday. I'm really would let it all sort of play itself out for a consortium of reasons, other than the fact that the other majors, I would argue, it's still more bodies than a roulette spin, Rick, but they're easier. Easier with a grain of salt. Relatively speaking, friends, the Masters field is so small. The U.S. Open PGA Championship, sure, the Phil eclipse once in a blue moon. It does happen. But those courses are so demanding in the sense of off the tee, ball striking, total package. You really can Brooks Koepka slice that sucker up. This one's got an element where I'm trying to make my first cut to get to having my Brooks Koepka list of 2025. I'm having a hard time doing it. In terms of putting red ink through guys, it's a lot harder than other events. So totally on every aspect.
Well, the golf course, the old course at St. Andrews, the main defense around this place is wind. It's a very exposed golf course. And if there is no wind, Jeff, it's driver wedge everywhere. And these guys are going to be able to kind of pick it apart. So that's also going to dictate kind of the guys that we talk about all the time. Oh, this guy can't win at 19 under. I like him better if it's 6 under. Things like that, right? I mean, there's a wide range of potential outcomes because I believe this golf course could give us a ton of different paths to victory.
Yeah, 100%. I keep going back to getting caught in a moment of hyperbole, thinking this golf course is so old. It's not, doesn't, there's no renovations to it like other old venues. This one's older than those. You hear players talk about even the ball technology, forgetting the club technology, how much, I don't want to say easy, relative for these guys, easier it is at a place like St. Andrews. Without the wind, if Mother Nature doesn't come and protect this old lady, how do some of these guys, and they don't have to be the superstars of today. I wouldn't be shocked if any PGA card-carrying member, Euro card-carrying member came out and absolutely, annihilated this place just based on its length. But it always seems to have an answer. At least it has in the past. We thought that would happen in 15. We thought it was going to be a Bombers event then. Zach Johnson wins. Does it have a trick? I'm starting to think like maybe like a cat, it's running out of lives against the modern game. But they also don't want to be embarrassed on the 150th. It'll look ugly on TV, like crusty and brown and baked, because if it's up to the people running the event, it's the only sort of defense that they have. The last few times we've been here, Rick, it's a winning score between 14 and 19. And that's like even playing tough, they get over 15. If it's windy, they'll clear 15, in my opinion. So as we sit here now and seeing that early weather, I'm expecting a couple guys to really have their way. And that doesn't mean it won't be entertaining. We've seen 2-3 guys have shootouts that end up being like classics, like Phil and Stenson. We'll see how the tournament comes out. They could score, last year there wasn't much weather and Morikawa kind of took it apart and bucked every single trend. So I'm prepared, but this one, I shouldn't say I'm prepared. I lack a preparedness that I feel like I had going into other majors, but my golf senses are tingling. Tiger's playing, the pomp and circumstance of this event that I like you, Rick, we're sort of nerdy in that way. We love the betting aspect, but even without it, like we're sort of just, junkies for the event and the pomp and circumstance that they'll put on 150 here. So let's give it. We'll try. I'll try my darndest. I don't want to lose money.
Let's see what the grid has to say. So we've got the odds checker grid here and already seeing some sizable discrepancies and likely to continue when we get the week of reset and somebody gets a boost and we're getting competition, all that fun stuff. So the grid is going to be an unbelievable, valuable resource as it is every week, but especially this week. The group of golfers under 20-1 is sizable. Rory McIlroy is the favorite at 10-1. Then you can get access to Jon Rahm at 14. At 16, we find Scotty Scheffler and Xander Schauffele. At 18, we find Jordan Spieth and Matt Fitzpatrick. And then Justin Thomas, JT, already got a major in the bag this year, rounds out the group sub 20-1 at 19-1, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, they've clearly differentiated Rory at the top. Well, I think we'd all be so happy for Rory to have, I think what we'd have to call a breakthrough at this point, at least on a major championship level. It's not going to allow me to do what I want to do, although I think he's going to be in this event, certainly, Rick, and it will be a shame. Like, from the golf fanboy in me, non-betting, if Rory can't get one this year with the form he seems to have had, like, I think he's been able to like regroup into off seasons. This one, it will be a real sort of low blow. And I don't want to say he's got to start counting what's left, but just to have blown the year with the form it seemed like he rode into so many majors as a golf fan would be a total shame. In this range, it's amazing. Xander deserves his place. It's so funny to sort of think of that paradox. Both of you and I have always sort of not taken that approach. I've bet him clearly at too many wrong events lately. But Jordan Spieth, I don't know. He just seems so comfortable here. There's so many trends if you want to go down that road from needing the win in the year or open history or the Augusta comp. Like, there's so many trends, and he literally almost finds his way to every single one of them. We were recording this as the Scottish is happening. He was on my odds checker sheet last week. Hope he has a wonderful Sunday. But under 20, yeah, I guess Jordan Spieth would be my lean. I'm not betting it though. I don't think so. Not at all.
Yeah, I'll probably click it one more time. I just thought that this was such a good set of major championship venues for him this year, and he's been very, very underwhelming. But you're right. We don't know the conclusion of the Scottish Open yet. He's playing well. He's inside the top 5. There's, less than 18 holes to go. We'll see how it pans out. But the creativity, the link style of golf where it's just rub of the green. Sometimes you're going to get a bad break. Sometimes you're going to get a good break. Feels like it's right up Jordan's alley. I'll probably click it one more time.
Rick, I don't want to, I need your opinion though. Like, cause are you expecting the place to get broken or you just think hell or high water, she'll defend herself?
I think she'll defend herself.
I hope so too. Like, that's what I really want to see. happen. It would be a total shame for her to like for someone to post a north like of 24 or something.
Yeah, I think the magnetic pot bunkers that are going to be a half a shot penalty, and I don't think the wind will lay down all week long, and they're still going to have to deal with the road hole. I think she'll defend herself at some point.
Fantastic. It's what we're here for. And you said it. You can bomb and gouge it, but lag putting, that sort of inside 100 feet, 100-yard creativity. I mean, that is sort of what always asks of this place. And it's so different from so many modern golf courses on so many levels that your like standard incredible ball striker might not even have that like huge advantage he normally has at the like biggest event layouts when we try to think about them in a broader scale.
Yeah, 7 double greens are going to bring 3 putts into play for sure. 7 massive greens out there. So a lot of different ways for those scores to pile up. The 20s, fascinating group of golfers. And if you're looking at the odds checker grid, they're all jammed in here at 25-1 is their best number. Obviously, you need to shop these. Cam Smith, Colin Morikawa, Shane Lowry, Will Zalatoris. So you mentioned, Geoff, you're going to get some closing line value on that Willie Z ticket for sure.
Yeah, listen, we were there at all the majors this year. So at least I got the big number for the last one. I don't know what to make of it. Part of me, as I kind of just said, like his great ball striking, long iron play could not, factor in as well as a lot of places. But the incredibly wide fairways and him just having the club he wants in his hand makes you have to think he's right there. Defending champion Colin Morikawa, Rick, bucked every trend last year. Odds checker came to me at the new year and said, what was your best bet of the year? We want to do an article with all our write-up people, highlight their best bet. I'm like, I don't really remember my best bet. I remember my worst bet, Colin Morikawa to miss the cut at the Open Championship, documented on my last year picks for this event. Now, late Friday, as he was playing great, I sort of, on a live cut sweat sort of said, okay, I'm dead wrong about that. Now I think he's going to win. I didn't bet it live or anything. But how do you put this? There are numbers out there, 25-1. If conditions lay down, I don't know why he shouldn't play a factor in any of this. Cam Smith is the guy I am looking at the moment. He sort of fits so many of the current year trends and that creativity, that 3-putt avoidance that I'm looking for next week. So those are the guys. Cam Smith, I would say under 30 would be the guy that I am currently looking at, Rick.
Yeah, and I bet Cam Smith at the Scottish Open, and seemingly nothing has changed all that much to make me get away from him. So I'll certainly be looking long and hard at that number and probably holding out as long as possible. But Cam Smith has my attention. The 30s and 40s, Geoff, Patrick Cantlay playing well at the Scottish Open. We've got some of the guys coming back from LIV and Brooks Koepka at 40-1 and Dustin Johnson at 35-1. Louis Oosthuizen, who's got a great track record around St. Andrews, is also 40-1. What can you find me, if anything, in this range?
Yeah, so obviously this is an exciting range, and this is the range where last year, for whatever reason, we know those comments that sort of, ran circles. I bet him to miss the cut. I'm going to now say it again. Morikawa was 40. Shane Lowry, a nice number in and around this 30 to 50 range. Molinari coming in on his heater, 33-1. So last 3 right in this range, that hot pocket. Did I hit any of them? No. But Patrick Cantlay, how can you ignore the 33-1s out there right now? 30-1. Every result. I'm not one of these people that buys the major thing. Same. And if we're in this moment where, a month ago, Matthew Fitzpatrick could never win, Xander's is bum. Now they're both where they are on the odds board. And I don't want to say, Fitzpatrick as a major has answered a lot of questions, but now people who were like this never Xander want to make him this, put him on such a pedestal, just in a couple of weeks. So I could be all in on Cantlay and Dustin Johnson. I'm not afraid of the LIV stuff. There's a few guys, the US Open, I'm not even blaming it on the media. Like, Rick, you go into you get paid what some of those guys got paid, the players you would want to bet on to win a golf tournament who went over to live. You get paid that money, and then you show up a couple weeks later at a party with a bunch of the people you used to work with. Forget, like, you don't even need media to be like, it's a total scheduling, just for a lot of reasons, right? I think St. Andrews, I bet on DJ in 15. It looked like it was going his way for about 2.5 days, and then he imploded. I think St. Andrews is perfect for him in a lot of ways. It's hard to quantify the live stuff, so didn't really pull a trigger and miss some real big numbers that I think were out there a week or two ago. But that'd be a player I'm looking at. And Hideki Matsuyama, always a disrespected elite. Fourth at the US Open. The Scottish was his first start, so I don't even care that he played poorly. Like, from the Jordan Spieth perspective, you don't need to see in 4 hours, Rick, that he won. He had already played well enough in Scotland, whether he comes in first or fifth, that you're like, I'm ready to continue backing Jordan Spieth. That makes total sense. For Hideki, I'm just happy that he played last week from the mindset of wanting to bet him next week. Also, underrated lag putter. And so Hideki 40-1 sort of has my eye at the moment.
Just underrated putter in general. Dustin Johnson as short as 25-1, as long as 35-1. Hideki Matsuyama as short as 28-1, as long as 40-1. So the grid coming in big time handy here at the moment. Geoff, as we creep towards and past the 50s, there are some notables. Big Hunky Tony is 50-1. That's Tony Finau. Sung J M as short as 40, as long as 66. Robert McIntyre getting a big discrepancy on the grid. And then also Tiger Woods lurks here. What do you see?
Okay, well, love that Tiger's playing. If it turns into a Disney movie, I'm going to lose a lot of money, but I can cry and enjoy it. People, I don't know. Finau 50. Wish it was bigger. I'm a sucker for him. People who know me know that one could be hard for me to resist. But Sung J M 66. Well, the play has dipped, since everyone loved him, myself included, going into the PGA. The US Open. I take that back, Rick. And so much of that talk was about his 3-putt avoidance and a lot of quality things. So I'm circling around that. And if you are on team that St. Andrews has the potential to be broken, the weather is kind of looking like that. If you just feel it, and we're going to see so many videos. You see so many like Dunhill Links videos, Ricks, of guys driving 18. And then you're like, oh my God, they're all going to break it. Well, if you do believe it's going to get broken, you got to maybe find some Bryson at 66. If that's sort of where your head is at, and if as we get closer to the event, and I think this place is going to get broken, I might have some Bryson at 66.
I generally think that Bryson's, the single length clubs, the lack of creativity around the greens does not set up well for an Open Championship. However, this is like the best Open Championship spot for him. Like that like bomb it. There's there's just a lot of things that he will be able to do that he will not be able to do at other Open Championship venues. And if you can break it, I agree. I stared at that 66 number and I was like, oh boy, this might be something here.
And I am of the belief, and I guess especially with live guys, maybe you have to create some sort of different narrative in your head. At least in Bryson's case, he's such a weird cat. Like, I truly believe he's dedicated to trying to be as great a golfer as he can be, or like really good. We know how hard he works. Like, he needs to prove to himself that what he did like 2 years ago wasn't a fluke. Like, he needs to prove it to himself, not to you, not to the Saudi Arabian foreign ministry, to himself. So yeah, I'm weird enough to believe that. And I maybe have said enough about Bryson, and maybe he'll play horribly, but I think there is a lane, and I'm finding it.
Max Home at 80-1 feels criminal. That's the one that I will also find myself clicking.
What a player.
Yeah, just he finds a way. Tough conditions, doesn't matter. Playing well in Scotland. Let's go 80-1. As we exit that range, Geoff, and get into, nearing the triple digits and into the triple digits, this is the point of the show where I have to ask you, can these guys actually win it? Does a randomness of an Open Championship make you more likely to start clicking these names? What do we do here at the bottom end of the board?
So 100%, at least in terms of a major championship, this course, it kind of feels like they're very much alive. They can get so much distance off the tee with the rollout. Now, I think that's a dangerous game to play because you want to ask for rollout, you take one little wrong crevice turn and you go into a bunker. I'd rather bet on a guy that's just going to hit it over that bunker, maybe. But there are a few guys creeping around 100 to 1. Gary Woodland, as low as 65 on the grid, but as high as 90. Wildcard factor. We've mentioned for all the reasons that they feel like they're just more competitive. You can't blindly cross them off like I like to do at other majors. And that subsequently could just end up being expensive. Because in the end, it's probably still going to be just like a T20, T15 player in the world winning it, Rick. But this like wildcard nature of the golf course potentially is probably going to have me going to be a reason I'm going to lose a few more bucks responsibly. Gary Woodland, 90 to 1, and then going really deep, almost skipping the whole hundreds.
Yeah.
Because for a couple of weeks, I've just kind of been like, to this wild card factor, I keep like just saying the Kevin Kisner player profile could be live. Well, hey, why not just do Kevin Kisner? Just get lucky with your rollouts on the tee and be your creative self from inside that like 30-yard, 100 feet, whole shtick, So Kevin Kisner is popping, I think, at 200 to 1 on the OC grid, as low as 150. Maybe that's something we want to, take extended placings on, when betting players back here, and we know the books will be ultra competitive in offering them.
Boy, I just stumbled onto his name. And I can't tell you off the top of my head what I think about Taylor Gooch's current form, but Taylor Gooch should not be 200 to 1 while Haotong Lee's 160, Frankie Molinari's 160, Rafa Cabrera, right? I mean, he's not going to win, but I was not expecting to see his name as I kept scrolling down the board.
Are we going to get a full, like, that's what you call a full live discount. Now, for about a week, if we did this a week ago, I wasn't prepared to bet it, but I think one of these grid points would have shown DJ at 50. I didn't bet it. I wasn't thinking, again, as I mentioned, the future market's not something I really want to get involved with this one. Now that's one I maybe regret not swinging at, Rick, but live discounts everywhere. It seems like for everyone not named Oosthuizen.
Right.
Live discounts everywhere, but everyone not even on your DFS formats. It seems like there's just this. There could be this just like out there. You all know what I'm trying to say, but yeah, I don't know. Prices up everywhere. Hopefully DJ bumps up again. Also, if it turns into like a classic Open Championship, like a weather report on Wednesday, a full 180, we got to bet some Patrick Reed too.
Yeah, I thought about that as well.
I have no issues with that. I think there's 100 to 1s out there. If you think it's gonna, not involve much or any of that, it's kind of hard to bet Patrick Reed if you don't think the event's gonna have much teeth. But I think there's live disrespect everywhere, and that goes without the off the course stuff that's sort of going on.
Yeah. Well, these are certainly not going to be the last words we say about the Open Championship this week. Lots more content and information coming your way, but for now, we're going to put a pin in it. Geoff Fienberg is available on Twitter at GFienberg17. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been your odds checker betting preview for the Open Championship. Good luck.